any idea what the standards are? Now, where is Connecticut all of this? If you rank Connecticut in terms of how they teach minorities versus white kids, you list all the states, where is Connecticut? Rock bottom. They're last on the list in teaching the minorities that they claim that they're helping, and that's what the Democrats claim because they run the cities, and the cities have the failing schools. What's a failing school? So you can go on with questions after questions after question. Basically, it means, depending on who does it, but basically what they're looking at is what they call the number of absences. If you're 3 weeks or more, that's a sign there's something wrong with the school. Now, we talk about slavery. We brought that issue up, slavery. Let me give you one line about slavery that you don't hear. All you hear is about black slavery, right? White slavery started sooner, lasted longer, and it was cheaper to buy a white slave than a black slave. Where do you get that information? Not from the schools. You only hear about black slavery. White slavery still exists, particularly for white women and children. Where were the worst possible child abuses was back in the early 1900s, when children were chained to their machines because they were treated as slaves. And they were white kids, not black kids. You don't read that from the schools. There's so much information that you only get one-sided pieces of information. You never get the other side. My first book, for example, was on school corruption. It occurs in every school. I'll go into any school and find school corruption. That drove the School Board Association and Superintendents Association crazy. They did everything to come after me. And when I went to prove it, they wouldn't want me to prove it. I said, pick 3 schools and I'll show you. They wouldn't do it. When they wanted a debate, I was willing to do it because the superintendent wanted to do it to try to show, both sides. They refused to debate me. That would be David against Goliath. And yet they refused because they knew how David and Goliath ended up. But Connecticut is known as a district, the school with 2 districts, urban and suburban. The black kids have to attend failing schools by law. That's called bondage. Bondage is another term for slavery. The book I got coming out is Slave Schools, to describe what that's like, to be forced to be in a school that is not teaching you anything. I call it this. The cotton plantations have been replaced by the school plantations. There is no difference. There is no difference. I've been in those schools. I spent 10 years in the Bridgeport school when I was at the University of Bridgeport. I know what that inner city schools are like. So this just gives you some idea of what's really going on out there that you don't pick up from any place. Because the media is not only asleep at the wheel, they don't even have the car. They're just handling the wheel.